Heartily welcome to all of you on our YouTube channel CA Sansar. I'm speaking Stella from the CA Sansar. So today we are going to talk about very interesting topic which is very important. The topic is the CA blind spot nobody teaches. So our guest is the CA Komal ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, to joining us and also giving you valuable time. In this session, we will learn about the CA technology advanced skills so that can we learn the most shoot professional way. So now, ma'am, I would like to invite you the share the thoughts on the today topic.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you. This is CA Komal Majmudar. I have picked up a topic which is beyond books. So basically, I can give you a highlight about any section or any provision or any thing from the book that is always going to be there. But today I thought, why not take young uh, CAs, young practicing CAs or aspiring CAs, the students, through something that nobody teaches in our course. It is why technical advice often fails, even if the advice is correct. So, what is that point? What is that skill that needs to be learned and put forward in front of the management in order for us to give a impactful advice or it may bring about a change. Okay, so this session basically is not about, like I said, learning anything from the books. All of us spend years mastering that, but this is about the CA blind spot that I'll tell you about. So, how many of you have given advice that was technically perfect, properly referenced, correctly documented, and yet nothing changed? If you have experienced this, today's session is for you. So, one thing I would like to say is this happens to all the chartered accountants, all the consulting people, and it is not about incompetence. Let's examine what we are taught versus what actually works. The myth young CAs are told. So, most of us are trained with three silent assumptions. If I am right, I will be valued. If I quote the section, management must listen or management should listen. And my job ends with reporting. These assumptions, they work in exams, not in boardrooms. If I am right, I will be valued is right. But correctness is expected, not rewarded. You are right, well, your job is to be right. So you will be valued if you are right and impactful. You will be valued if you are right and if you are giving a recommendation that is value adding. Secondly, if I quote the section, management must listen. In reality, sections don't create urgency, consequences do. So, what you speak, how you communicate, it's not the problem that you have to communicate. You have to say the problem, the solution, and the recommendation, how it will not come again. That is the complete communication channel that has to be completed in order to value add. Thirdly, my job ends with reporting. Reporting is only half the professional responsibility. Actually, our job starts with asking questions, reporting is in middle, and then our recommendations which are relevant to the business process and which are value adding to the management are important. In the real world, correctness is entry level competence. So, influence is not equal to accuracy. Influence requires more than accuracy. Our advice often fails due to poor framing, wrong timing, and lack of relevance. So, when we are framing the communication, we have to frame it in such a way that it is impactful. We have to tell it at the time when the management wants to hear, not before, not after. And lack of relevance. That is, we have to give relevant information, something that management wants to hear, in the sense that something that is relevant in their business cycle. Management doesn't reject advice because it's wrong, they reject it because it feels theoretical. So basically, we have to give an advice that is practical, having all the 3 points that I just discussed. Let me show you what I mean through real situations. These case studies have been framed keeping in mind that CA students will also be watching the lecture. Basically, they are very, very basic. For example, ignored audit observation can be PF delays that were flagged correctly. Okay, so delays were noticed by the chartered accountant or their articles, and they were flagged correctly to the management. Observations noted, no action taken by the management. Penalties hit months later. Here, the problem was not knowledge but urgency. So, the observation that we gave was accurate. The clause we quoted was right, and the report was clean. But management said noted. 6 months later, when the penalties hit, was the problem knowledge, or was it the failure to create urgency? It was the failure to create urgency with impactful communication. Most CAs describe what is wrong and not what it will cost to the management if they do not follow. Second case is the perfect valuation. A young CA has prepared a flawless valuation, assumptions, sensitivity, documentation, everything was included in the valuation. Now, promoter ignores it and goes with gut feeling. The model wasn't rejected in this case, the conversation was. Because numbers were there without narrative. So there was no decision framing and no recommendations. Well, making numbers, drafting them correctly is your and my job. But the client, who is the management, has to have some insight out of the numbers. We have to convert the numbers into a language that is understandable by the management. If we fail in doing this, the management not taking any action is not their fault, it is partly ours. Next case is advice that came too late. Now, a CA warns about GST exposure, which was correct, but only after the contracts are signed. So, right advice at the wrong time is still a wrong advice. So, prevention matters more than reporting. Timing is a part of our professional competence, it's not an afterthought. So, the four blind spots that CAs must fix. Now, all these are practical life scenarios that happen. Now, what should we do to mitigate those the risks that we have in our profession? First is, my job is to inform. So, there are four blind spots. We think our job is to inform. No, our job is to enable a decision. Inform karo, that is half communication. What will that information, how will the management benefit? You have to tell how to use the information in order for the management to take the right decisions or the right corrective steps so that they value add out of it. Secondly, more detail is equal to more credibility. No, more detail is not required. In fact, if I was at the top level management, I would say, tell me in as much short as possible what I need to do, where I'm wrong. So, clarity beats completeness. Be clear, not long. Third is management didn't listen. Well, they did, but they did not, they were not told in their language, the language in which they want to understand, in which they run the business. And the last one, I'm too junior to influence. Influence is about framing, not designation. Framing is more important than your designation. There's no junior senior in this game. So, what young CAs should do differently? This is the most practical slide. Decision, cost, consequence. So, if you can't convert an observation into either a decision or a cost or a consequence, then don't present it. It is not a complete observation. Decision for the management, cost for the management. If an observation is saying, for example, that inventory is lying unused, this is a right communication, but it is not complete. It does not enable the management to do anything. They are staring at your observation over there, confused. What you have to tell is, since how long the inventory is lying unused, what is the value of the inventory that we are talking about, and what is the BOM value? Was the inventory rightly ordered? Was there the entire conversation done with respect to the requirement and the issue to the stores and everything? So basically, the whole observation has to be complete in a way that the management understands that our working capital has been stuck over here. It is not simply an observation without applying the brain. Okay. Now, secondly, why today? You have to always answer, why should this matter today? If you go to the management and tell them about an observation, you have to couple it with the fact that why they should hear it now and not after a year or not after 6 months. So timing creates urgency, not your tone. Thirdly, replace non-compliance language with impact statement. So if you go to the management and say you are not compliant in doing this, you're not compliant as per section so and so in doing so and so, that is a theoretical knowledge for them. We have to replace that language with impact statement. We have to say that non compliance has been observed in so and so area, which has affected the finances to the extent of this value, and what we recommend the management to do is this instead of what is the current procedure, in order for this observation to not happen next time. So impact changes behavior, sections don't. Fourth point, end with recommendations, not notes. So when we are drafting observation, the last line, if we say, please note this was found in a gist, point number 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we have to end it with auditor's recommendation. It has to be informed recommendation. You have to talk to the people who are on the ground level where the observation was observed. You have to know what is there, what is not there, and then draft the recommendation. Also, the recommendation should not be half hearted or with an incomplete background of knowledge, because you have to own your advice. It is like you are advising your children. You just cannot go wrong. In the same way, you have to advise the management. Final thought, standards make you a qualified chartered accountant, impact will make you relevant. Your career will not be defined by how right you were, but by how much difference your advice to the management made. That's the shift I want you to start making from today. In the last slide, I have covered my whole topic in an infographics. So we start with the problem. On the left side is the problem, and on the right side is the solution. Problem statement is why correct advice often fails. So in that, technical correctness guarantees influence is a myth. That's a chartered accountant being shown in the picture. He's thinking that I am technically correct, then why would my influence not be taken? No, it does not guarantee influence. In reality, correctness is just entry level competence. Influence comes from how you communicate. That is what I've been stressing along the whole PPT. It's all about your impact management making skill. Advice is rejected for being inconvenient, not incorrect. So you will never be wrong. You will always be right in your own way, but it has to be from the lens of the management. Okay. Management ignores advice that feels theoretical, badly timed, or disconnected from business reality. The core blind spot is confusing informing with influencing. My job is done because I have informed. No, that is the wrong thing. We have to influence the management. We have to get into their thought processes, in their mindsets by talking their language, by knowing their business more. A big part of the job here is to know the client really well. The client, their job, their business cycle, their customers, their environment, everything. That is the primary job you should do as an auditor or any engagement for that matter. As a chartered accountant, our first job is to know our client. When you know them, you can talk into their language. So your job isn't just to report a problem, it's to enable a clear and timely decision. Now, coming to the solution, how to make your advice matter. Frame every point as a cost, a consequence, or a decision. Think that if you had been in the management's position, what would you have taken into consideration in order to feel that this is important? You should have either a cost or a consequence or a decision. If your observation doesn't lead to one of these three, it's not ready to be presented. Please bear in mind this is most important. Your observation should be complete. Connect your advice to an immediate risk, cost, or priority to create urgency. That they are talking about the timely, the time impact of the observation. For example, shift your language from passive reporting to active recommendation. So, sorry, that's the third rule. Always answer the questions why should they care today? If I'm saying something that this is my observation today, why should they pay attention to it today itself instead of sometime back or sometime in the future? Connect your advice to an immediate risk, cost, or priority. So, for example, shift your language from passive reporting to active recommendation. Instead of this is non compliant, say if this continues for 6 more months, here is what breaks, here is what goes out of line, here is where the non compliance is. And instead of saying please note so and so is the issue, say please note this is the issue, but for this to not happen again or to improve the process in future, my recommendation is. And thirdly, repeat, for example, observation repeated PF delays, then the risk of not acting now is a potential penalty of X. That is what you should have communicated to the management, that PFs are being delayed. ठीक है, okay. Management says noted. No, you have to say PFs are being delayed and the risk of not acting now. If you don't act now, 6 months down the line, this is the amount of penalty you might be looking at. That is creating the whole, completing the loop of conversation and creating an impact to the management's mind. So, small changes in how you phrase your conclusions can dramatically increase their impact on the management. So, here is where I complete my presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions in the comments anytime. Thank you.
Thanks you a lot, ma'am. Like wonderfully you explained the overall topic, and this should be we know that perfectly you explained. Thank you so much to you, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.